Howdy, gentlemen. Since Brett requested an ice bath. Oh, stop it. You're ruining the video, Delphi. Brett, you want an ice bath video? You're getting an ice bath video. And I'm going in with my J Love J because I got this for $15 I put in his closet, which is sick. December 10th, I think it is. We had the heater on last night. I actually heated it up. It's 50, so that is warm. The snow's coming down. I think the outside temperature is about 23. Oh, yeah. We say it's a cold bath, but 50 is pretty freaking warm. All right. Double check the pockets. Oh. Whew. 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 Yeah. All right. This is your fantasy football Birdgang playoff. Stop. No. 5 to retake this and put you inside. I'm gonna be real mad, Delphi. Congrats to Jovan. Bijan's boys. You started off with a dude. God. Kids, I tell you. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to fucking stop this. Okay, not ideal. Whew. Okay. Jovan. Bijan boys. Wow, what a season. What a season, Jovan. You started off with picking Bijan and Saquon, and that was the those two players are the cornerstones of your team. Because holy shit, were Bijan and Saquon awesome. You started off 3-3, so not a great start, and then you finished 7-1 to lock up the 1 seed. Your team of Jaden Daniels, Saquon, Bijan, JSN, which you didn't draft, get to that later, someone else did. Tough scene. Hell of a pickup. Brian Thomas was a great draft pick. Rashad White you missed. DK's okay. Debo's kind of been a miss. Pickens has picked it up. Zay's been fun. Daniels was a hit and Brian Thomas was a hit. Those 2 hits at the end of the draft. That was big for you, Jovan. That was big. Also, Jason Saunders, your kicker, I think he's been big too. Bad day to be a Robin. Our number 2 seed, Cole. He had the 7th pick. Jovan had the 8th pick, by the way. So the 7th and 8th pick, first 2 seeds, kind of weird. Maybe not. I don't know. Cole picked Jamar Chase with his first pick, and he has rode Jamar Chase to the 2nd seed. You had a couple rough starts to start the year, Cole. You did start 1-1. You beat Colin week 2 by scoring like 60 points, and Colin scored like 40. So you did start 2-0, but you kind of had a rough 2 starts. And then week 3, you really kicked Jovan's butt by scoring 145. So I think that was your big breakout week. And your last week, you put up 172. You're going to be scary in the playoffs with Josh Allen, QB1, and maybe Lamar's QB1, but he is awesome. Probably the MVP this year, as you predicted. So nice job predicting that, Cole. You also, Jamar Chase, draft Jonathan Taylor, been a little bit up and down. McLaurin was a big hit for you. Jaden Reed's been up and down, but still I'd say a pretty big hit. Chuba Hubbard was huge, and your biggest was probably Brock Bowers. I mean, Brock Bowers, everyone who drafted him has been happy with what he's been doing. Congrats, Cole, on getting the 2nd seed. 2 rings, 1 asterisk. The 3rd seed, Brett. Brett had the most points overall scored this year, and he comes in our 3 seed. He had picked 6, so 6, 7, and 8 were all of our top 3 seeds. Interesting. He picked Jettas, which he's been the receiver 2 this year, I think right behind Jamar Chase. He's been amazing. Derrick Henry's been great. Cup's been pretty solid. Lamar's been amazing. I think these 3 in the middle of the draft, Lamar, Monty, and Kittle, those 3 picks, studs. I mean, Montgomery's been 10, 15 points every week. Kittle's been one of the best tight ends, probably tight end 1, I'd guess. Lamar's been quarterback 1. And then you got Sutton. who's been really good recently. So that was a big. And Brett, you started 7-1-1. You had looking like an easy number 1 seed. A little bit of rough patch to end the year. But you had a great last week, putting up 139 to get in the playoffs with the 3 seed. And buena suerte, mi amigo Brett. Coming in at 4, myself. I was 8-5-1. I had pick 4 or 5, and I picked the Sun God, Amon-Ra, who's been a stud. A-Chain, stud. Traded Puka, wish I didn't. Ayuk sucked. McBride and Connor, those 2 Cardinals have been really good for me. I started off 5-2-1, then I went 3-3, and I've lost 2 in a row. So I'm kind of sputtering into playoffs. But that's okay. I think my biggest wins for this year was I picked up Addison. Someone else had him. I got A.J. Brown, who actually has not been that good for Puka, so that was kind of a loss. But I got Garrett Wilson, so that was sweet. I hit on my kicker and Dobbins in the late round. J.K. Dobbins and Fairbairn have been really good. Isaiah, worst to first. What a roller coaster it has been for you, my friend. Man, I mean, you started off 0-4, then you won 4 straight. You were 4-4, and then you finished 3-3. So you were the definition of average this year and of streaks, and that is really what a lot of football and fantasy is about. But you got the 5 seed, and you're in. And you had a big one over me to end the year, scoring 142. Your big additions were waiver wire. I mean, you got Juwan Jennings, who's been a stud. Tracy, who's been really good for the midseason. Mooney for a trade, and then Jonnu Smith. Like, those 3-4 players, plus Gibbs was a hit. You traded Garrett Wilson. Okay, DJ Moore's been bad. Pittman's been bad. Those are your next couple picks. Jalen Hurts was a hit. Joe Mixon in the 5th, 6th round, hit. Zamir White, bad. Shakir, you had Shakir at the end there. Another big hit at the end of the draft. I mean, just way to keep on it. Starting off 0-4, that's tough. Then you won 4 in a row. And you play me this week, Schmidt. So the first matchup after our 2 byes, well, Brett, I guess, maybe the first matchup. Brett is playing, we haven't gotten there yet, but Isaiah plays me. Me and Isaiah, the 4 to 5 seed, are playing to move on in the playoffs. Now we got Bill, who snuck in the last week, overtaking Colin for the 6th playoff spot. Roadkill Colin, a.k.a. Bill. Bill had a hell of an up and down year, too. Bill won 2 in a row to sneak into the playoffs. Your team on paper looks really good, and I don't really want to play you at all. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Josh Jacobs, Kamara, Njoku, and Jordan Love representing your guy. All those guys have such high ceilings. They've just all been either injured. Tyreek Hill had no quarterback for a while. Nico was injured. Jacobs didn't get a lot of touchdowns to start. Now he's killing it. Kamara is up and down. Jameson Williams is a great pick, by the way. Sleeper at the end of the round. Let's see here. You had a stretch where you lost 6 in a row. And to still make the playoffs within losing 6 games in a row was kind of crazy. You won 3 of the last 4 to beat out Colin, but I don't know how you were feeling after that. 6 straight losses, but couldn't have been good. Couldn't have been good. So buena suerte. Will, you'll be facing the 3 seed and Brett. So this week we have Brett versus Will and Joe versus Isaiah. A couple other notes. Well, I still have, 7 minutes. All right, well, good thing the ice bath is at 50, not at 40, where it has been. The boys in the bottom, points against. Everyone that is in the bottom has all the points against them. So Darian, Craig, Grant, and Colin, those are our bottom 4 points against. Darian, you have the most, Craig second most, Grant third most, Colin fourth most, and you're our bottom 4. So sometimes you just it's not always in your power to win. You just get shit on. Least points against, Brett, me, Cole, Will, Jovan, and Isaiah. So those top 4 least points against all made playoffs. Now, most points for, you can kind of go the other route. Most points for Brett, Jove, me, Cole, Isaiah, Will, all 6 playoff teams. So the more you score, the more you're going to win. But when you're in the middle, it's a lot about luck. I have some stats that I got off the app for our last 4 years playing, interesting, all of our records now, Colin doesn't really matter, it doesn't really pertain to you because you have Manny's record on you. But Brett is our leading record winner at 88 and 35 and 3. Jovan is second, 79, 47. I am at 75 and 50. Cole, 72, 52. A couple of ties in there for some people. Isaiah, 71, 54. This is where it drops to under 500. Will is 58 and 65. Colin is 51 and 74. Darian's 50 and 76. Grant is 42 and 83. And Craig surprised me the most. He's at 38 and 88. Last year's champion, Craig, is 38 and 88 overall. And that is our bottom 4 this year, is Craig, Grant, Darian, and Collins. So history repeats itself, unless you want to make a change. Something like that. Bottom 4 teams. Colin, you had CMC. That's just tough. You picked 2 tight ends. Tough. They both kind of sucked. Chase Brown and McConkey and Judy kind of hit to the end of the draft, but you had some tough misses at the top. Grant had CD, London, Adams, first 3 picks. Like, that looks great. CD's just, Dallas sucks. Devontae's been such a drama queen. James Cook's been inconsistent. But you had some highlights in your draft. You picked Brian Robinson, who's been really good, just kind of injured. You picked JSN, who's an absolute stud, and you picked Tucker Kraft. Like, you had 3 picks in a row there, and Braylon Allen after that. Like, those are 4 good picks at the back end of the draft. So those are something to look at and be proud of yourself, you know? Darian, Brees Hall, Jets have sucked. Pacheco hurt. Mike Evans hurt and been inconsistent. Neighbors hurt. Kenneth Walker been good. Deontay Johnson, has he played a snap this year? I don't know. Calvin Ridley sucked. Murray's average. Godwin was a hit and then got hurt. Like, what are you going to do? That was Craig, Brown, and Harris, and Kelsey, your top 3 picks. A.J. Brown's receiver 25, been kind of disappointing, hurt. Harrison's been disappointing. Kelsey's been disappointing. Diggs, hurt, traded. Mahomes and C.J. Stroud, terrible. Craig did pick Addison. That's who picked Addison. That's all I got. That's about 10 minutes. I'm fucking cold. Should we dip? Let's dip. Ooh, the daily plunge, baby.